There's been a major emphasis in the last 5 years at trying to improve the break phase for cereals, so that's ways of managing weeds and diseases better in a farming system. We were getting increasing burdens of grassy weeds, we were seeing root diseases starting to build, grain quality was starting to slip. So we knew we were facing an issue, but really farmers and advisors were a little bit at loss about how to break away from that cereal domination. We've been particularly interested in trying to test the performance and evaluate break options for farmers in what's traditionally been a very cereal-focused farming system.
We looked at what would be the benefit of including both 1 and 2 year break crop phases in amongst that rotation and compared it to continuous wheat. And I guess the biggest finding was over the 4 years of the trial that profitability was really able to be significantly improved by including break crops in that rotation.
The real value of these trials is that you can compare things that just aren't possible at a larger scale in a farmer's paddock. In our trials we were able to compare side by side up to 20 different options and compare what would have happened if you'd chosen to do something differently. I suppose the exciting thing is that we've got some very good evidence now that where you've got a paddock that's getting fairly tired from a cereal domination, putting a break phase in there, and often it took 2 years, you could really clean that paddock up and substantially improve wheat production following that break and actually gain profit over that 4 or 5 year term. And I guess again the principle that we could see in the trials is that providing the breaks tackled the major constraint in that paddock, they'd be successful as a break and crop production would increase substantially following it. So it didn't really matter what it was, providing it got that constraint under control.
In the year after the break crop, we found that the benefit in reduction of brome grass, but also building nitrogen was about equal, and rhizoctonia and water were other benefits that the break crops gained. They haven't been the best 4 years that you could ever encounter, and I think that's an exciting thing about the results, is that the results haven't come from growing the best crops, but we've noticed these break crop benefits and the system benefits in a run of sort of average to below average years, which should give farmers good confidence going forward.
If you can get a reasonable season on vetch, it can be a very profitable crop, as well as doing so much for your soil and for your breaks. Peas look like they're a thing to stay. If you've got the right country, lupins can also be good. They're very good for fixing nitrogen. Just being able to grow some of these crops with totally different groups of chemicals, I think, is going to be a distinct advantage in the future.
Look, it's clear that break crops and pulses in particular, where you can set some nitrogen, are just absolutely vital in our rotations, and all we've been needing is to understand their growth capabilities and their performance ratings, and now we're seeing them in the paddock and seeing how well they perform.
After a 2 year break of pulse and canolas, the crops are still benefiting from the nitrogen and weed management put in those 2 years.
We've been having a go at them too, so to be able to have a look in another area and at different varieties and different rotations and see what we can take back to our place.
Look, I don't think there's any limits. I know we're on the bottom end of the rainfall scale in Victoria, but I'm going to have a go at some lentils this year, and we can't see any reason why they, with a reasonable season, that they won't do well as well.